Hello and welcome to the Surplus Geek Podcast. I'm Jake, and today I'm once again joined by Bailey.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
Of course. And today we will be talking about, I guess, eBay, but kind of just, it could be used generally for any real bidding website, but we're going to use eBay as a specific, and also because primarily I use eBay, and I know, well, Bailey kind of does everything, but we'll talk about some alternatives and some other things later, but
I'm basically a jack of all trades when it comes to looking up stuff pretty much on different sites and apps.
He's also a master of getting stuff for good prices, too.
This is true, actually. I can tell you all about it.
Much better than me. So to start, why eBay? And is it still the king of bidding websites?
So for eBay, well, everyone pretty much, you say eBay, what do you think of? Like, you can just get everything off of eBay, like auctions and buy nows and stuff like that. So everyone should be familiarized with eBay itself.
Yeah, if you're a collector, you should know eBay's ins and outs and how to use it and how to take advantage of everything that's on there. And is eBay still king? I would say yes. I would say there's no one that's taken over that role. I'd say that you can get better deals sometimes on other websites, and that's mostly because some people just don't know what they're selling. But for me, I like eBay for multitudes of reasons. I know sellers are starting to have issues with eBay's policy changes and stuff, but for me, I like the fact that you have buyer protection. It's integrated fairly well with PayPal, so you can use PayPal credit, pay in full, all those options. It's just overall a good tool for collecting, and really, honestly, like the best tool for starters. I think it's the greatest thing for starters.
I agree.
I mean, if you're starting and you're trying to get, don't go out on eBay and just start buying everything you see, but you can get some of this stuff. If you're specifically doing masks, for instance, you can get good prices on things. You just got to be very cautious and careful about what you buy. And that works into kind of the first major topic, which is you got to message sellers.
Definitely. What it really comes down to is, I guess, is patience, timing, and pretty much like when to buy and when not to buy, see if it's a good price or not. You can always look for like hours upon hours of different sites, even eBay itself. You might find something that's actually worth better, or you just find something that's in better condition, but it's worth like $2 or $3 more. Like, you gotta look at stuff like that, and it's like, what suits you? Do you want a great condition, like, mask, or you want like a pouch, you want a canteen cover, or do you want like a really cheap something, but it's not the greatest condition? So it all depends on what you search up and like what you're really looking for, pretty much.
Yeah, and if you're doing messaging too, you can lowball a little bit.
Definitely, just don't go overboard with it, because you want to keep it in a price range that is suitable for you
and fair
for the seller itself. Because if you try lowballing them, they're going to be like, I don't want to sell to this person. They can probably make it better. Even if
it's disrespectful.
Pretty much, yeah. It's a slap to the face. I've had this issue with sellers themselves, where I would actually offer a decent amount, in my opinion,
and then they take it the wrong way.
They would take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I have a story about this. So back when, a few months ago, I bought a steel sealed M40 Pro mask from a guy down in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is a fun story. So I get the package, and it's a cardboard box, but the shipping label is on top of the label that says M40.
Yeah, the date.
Size, the date, everything like that. And in the listing itself, if you look at the picture, it would have a specific component that was attached with the mask, and that wasn't included at all. So I messaged the seller. I'm like, hey, even though it's a decent price for what I paid for the steel sealed mask, but if I were to remove the shipping label, I would potentially ruin the other label for the mask.
Sure.
And not only that, you kind of, falsely listed or advertised the mask because it was supposed to have something else. And oh my God, he commented something really bad. I can't really say it, but he was
not a happy camper.
He was a jerk, let's just say. And I was like, I'm getting a refund from you. He goes, go ahead. I don't care. And sure enough, I did get a refund within 2 days.
And this is why it's important to message sellers, because if you see something and you like it and you want it and it's a good price, but you're not sure about something, just ask them questions.
Definitely.
I mean, if you need more photos, most sellers we'll send you more photos. I do it all the time. Bailey does it all the time. You know, if you want to, like, if you know, you want to know a date on something, ask for a picture. They might be able to get a better picture of something if it's not clear in the photos they already posted. You know, and bear in mind that not everyone on eBay that's selling is going to be good at using computers or using cameras or using their phone. So that's something that you're going to have to deal with, and that's okay. You got to understand the range of abilities of people.
Even most of the time, some of the sellers don't even know what they have.
Yes.
So it's either like they don't care for how much it sells for, or they try to get to the most maximum profit they can make. Like on eBay, there's sometimes a thing called a reserve not met, and it's basically when they want that amount, they want that amount to be met from a buy or a bid now process, pretty much.
Yeah, it won't sell unless it hits the reserve.
Yes.
And personally, I'm not a big fan of reserves. If you have a minimum amount and you're a seller, just put it at that amount.
I agree.
Just start the bid at that, because
yeah,
people are more likely to buy it than they'll know where you stand and that out. And that's key. When you lowball, that's what you're doing. You're kind of doing it in reverse, where you're like, again, you're being disrespectful, and I'm not. What is considered a lowball, not considered a lowball, that's really up for interpretation. You're not. Like, it depends on the item, really. It depends on the seller, depends on you, depends on everything. So you might think you're not lowballing, and it might be lowballing. And then if they get uppity about it or they don't like it, just apologize, be the better person, be the bigger person, and just move on. Me personally, I've basically only had good experiences on eBay. I know you just had one experience you're talking. I know you've had a couple of experiences.
I've had a couple of bad experiences.
But I've mostly good experiences. Most sellers will tell me if they're delayed on and if you don't get something, especially right now, COVID, definitely message them and be like, hey, I haven't received my item yet. They'll tell you like, oh, especially if you're buying international. When I got my M2000 from Germany, it was super delayed. And I messaged the guy and he said, hey, if you don't get it soon, I'll refund you. It obviously it's not going to make it. And luckily for both of us, it within a week it was there. And, we were both happy. And, but the fact that he messaged back like almost immediately, that's great, and that's what you're looking for. You also want to build up a good reputation on eBay. You don't want to be known as the guy that because some sellers do talk. For sure, some sellers talk. There's definitely a lot of big military surplus sellers on eBay that have thousands of items listed and stuff. They're basically, they're probably a store front that also lists on eBay. So you don't want to be that guy or girl.
No.
So I would say that. Yeah, that's key to that. And, to sellers, be understanding to people when they do maybe lowball you. Maybe they don't know you're lowballing. Try to just be respectful in terms. I know it could be probably hassle because you're probably dealing with many listings a day and stuff. I mean, Bailey, you sell a lot on eBay.
Now and then, usually.
Yeah, you got way more experience. I don't sell really. I probably should, but yeah, and. So, I get it, but, I think at both sides, it can be friendly to each other and stuff.
Definitely. Like for my good experiences, for instance, this is my story of how I obtained my my German M17 Lederschutz mask, which is the leather protection mask. They would have been made and issued during the First World War for the Germans and the Central Powers. So, I came from work and I was checking eBay and I saw this M1917 is what it's actually called up on eBay. And I think it was an auction or an offer, like make an offer. And I made an offer of like $120. I wasn't expecting him to accept it or not. And lo and behold, he did accept the offer like automatically. So I'm like, wow, okay. So I can't believe I got it that cheap. So I messaged the seller automatically saying like, wow, I wasn't expecting to get it that cheap. Like, that's amazing. But I think he took it the wrong way and says, oh, I wasn't expecting to get that much either. As a matter of fact, I'll just give you free shipping. I'll just take half off. How does that sound? I'm like, you're being too generous now. So yeah, sure. But it's just something like that. Like if you're just, I don't know. I knew I was trying to be nice with the message, but I think he just took it the wrong way, thinking like, oh, this kid's like, oh, I can get it probably cheaper. No, I wasn't trying to be like that. I was trying to be like, wow, this is amazing. Like I was surprised I can get this for like a tenth of a price than what they usually go for.
Yeah.
And I've had other experiences like me and Jacob here. During the summer, me and him bought 4 still sealed masks from a different seller because the first seller was still selling 4 of the still sealed mask, and he was expecting like $300 in payment, something like that.
Yeah, it was like $350.
So I found another seller out in Ohio, and I paid like half.
Yeah, it was like
180.
Yeah.
180 exactly.
With shipping, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
including shipping. And we were like, wow, this is wonderful.
So 90 a piece for both of us, that's amazing.
It was actually 45 a piece, but it was like 90 for both of us.
Yeah.
Actually, no. It was actually 35 a piece.
Yeah, but factoring and shipping.
Yeah, it was like 70 for both of us, so 740. Then it was like $40 shipping, so it's like 180 right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, sometimes you might see something you really want, and it's a little overpriced. You don't have to jump on it right away. And this gets into our next topic: when to buy, not to buy. And I would say this is crucial because I have made this mistake many of times where I'm just buy.
Yep.
I see something pop up, and I'm like, oh man, I might not be able to get this. I'll pay the price. And then a week later, it pops up. Even days later, another one will pop up.
Yep.
And and the key to this too is if you see an item, you should know your top price on it, what you're willing to pay. Because if there's someone else, and it only takes 2 people to bid something up to crazy numbers, and you don't want to get stuck paying way more than you need to on an item because it's like an addiction. It's like gambling. I gotta bid up, or you set it auto bid if you have to, and then if it goes over that, even if. What happens a lot, and this is the regret of eBay, is that you set an auto bid and someone outbids you by $1, and you're like, oh, I could have won it if I just paid $1 more. Except for you don't know what that guy's top or that person's top bid
Could
was.
have been like 200.
Could have been 200, 300, 500 more.
500 more, yeah.
Yeah, so you never know because you get stuck in a bidding war like that. Unless you have the cash, you don't want to get stuck in that, and you got to play it smart. So that's when to buy and when not to buy is extremely important to avoiding that. And like I said, I've made that mistake multiple times.
Yep, same here.
So you got to be smart about it and stuff. And you got to understand that, like, unless it's something that you're buying that's just weird to the point where, like, it's a one-off or it's a handcrafted item or they just didn't make more than 10 and you already know 9 of them are in the hands of collectors. Like, in that case, or the seller is a big-time collector. In that case, you might have to pay the price that's listed. It is what it is. Some things are just worth that much, but you have to make that determination without it being from pressure because you're like, oh no, I'm going to miss out on this, and again, it's crucial. Like if you have a Holy Grail item to have an idea of how much you want to spend on it. Before he comes up on eBay and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to drop 5, 6, 7, 800, or $1,300 like someone did. Yep. So, you definitely got to have that mindset going into eBay or most of this applies to all the bidding websites. Just eBay is the primary one that at least I use. And I use, it's what I got the most experience with. So from there, one of the things that you got to be careful with what to buy and what not to buy and when to buy is scams.
This is a big topic of ours. So basically by scams, we mean very fishy sellers or potential repros or fakes that are being sold.
Yes. A good example would be the assault bag for the M5 or E6. Used during D-Day because it's got that D-Day attached to it. Everyone loves it.
Yep. And
there is a lot of repro bags on the market. They're pretty easy to spot, but sometimes they can be
they're sometimes really good and they're really hard to tell until you get your hands on it.
Exactly.
It depends on texture too. Like the looks can be deceiving pretty much until you've had it. It's like book. Like you can't tell someone by an open book or whatever it was. The expression goes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can't tell people.
Yeah.
By its cover.
You get what I mean.
You got to get into the book and read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that specific...
You can't judge a book by its cover is what I meant.
There you go.
It's basically like surplus items. Like you can't determine like if it's actually fake or not until you have it in your hands.
And that goes for wear and tear as well.
Yes, this is true.
Even getting just a little side spin off from scams and spotting fakes and stuff is wear and tear. what looks perfectly good on camera might not be perfectly good in real life. What looks like there isn't a tear might actually be a tear. And this is also why, going back to messaging sellers, it's important to ask for more photos. If you don't have a side shot, a back shot, especially if it's something that's rubber, leather, cloth, if it's a piece, say it's a OG 107 uniform and they're only showing the front of it, ask for a back shot.
Yeah, ask for inside,
make
outside.
Make sure the back's not completely shredded or like there's stains all the way up it and stuff. Unless you're okay with that, which I guess some people might be, but that's something that you want to look for and be proactive about, because you don't want to spend $30 on something, $40, $50, $100 on something, get it, and then be like, oh.
It's not what you expected.
If you spend nothing on it, big whoop. But if you spend money on it, you got to determine that's the big thing in collecting in general. It's just how much you want to spend on something. That's really up to you. How much is your money? How much, that very self-determined. Because what someone might spend $500 on, you might not even spend $100 on. That happens a lot,
Oh, definitely.
So I would say that, that's crucial. Is wear and tear is huge. Make sure you know what you're buying. If you're okay with the wear and tear, that's fine, But
you should talk about your Okinawa boots. The ones you bought
that's a video for the future.
Oh, it's a video?
Yeah. That's going to be a little expose. Just a little heads up. There is a video coming once I get my the gears turning about a pair of reproduction boots. They're not really reproductions. They're kind of just like knockoffs.
Pretty much.
And they're just really bad. And the listing is
very,
very suspect, very scammy. They don't even take a real photo of the boots that they're actually selling you. And they used pictures of the real boot. And it's not cool.
It's Photoshop too. The colors is off.
It's Photoshop. Yeah. They even Photoshopped off the markings and stuff. I'm going to do a whole video on it because I think it's something that, it's coming. It's just the YouTube's just being put on hold because of time. But that's a good topic. I'm excited for the expose on that.
Back to eBay actually, but when it comes to, I guess, like scams and stuff like that, and I've had issues with this too, but not with me, but with other people as well that I've known. Is actually the shipping price.
Yes,
the shipping price is actually a big issue for me because of.
Be careful in shipping prices.
Yes, so I know someone right now who actually bought a N1955 Marine flak jacket. It was like $100 listing, and I think he only paid like $10-$20 for shipping, even though it's like a what, 10
it's a vest, yeah.
It's a 10-pound vest filled with like plates and like everything like that. And apparently when he got it, there was no padding. It was an oversized box. The thing actually ripped inside.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I've never run into that before. Many things I've gotten shipped.
Yeah, but that's a big issue too with shipping. Like if the shipping is a lot lower than what you expect for something that's a big size.
There's a reason why they have a saying, if it's too good to be true, you got to watch out for that stuff. You also got to watch out for, the listing's only $10, but the shipping is $90.
Yeah, that's another big issue too. Like
that's more of a scam.
Yeah, because sometimes there are some listings where it'd be like, I saw this a while back. It was actually a Vietnam era mask. That's actually called the XM28E4 Grasshopper version. I think there was someone selling them for like a few hundred, but the shipping was like $200.
Yeah,
it was something ridiculous, and it was like, oh, this is for charity. I think that's pocket change for you.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm not sure.
Shipping should never be that much, unless they're sending you 100 masks.
Yeah. If it was 100 masks, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. I don't care.
Yeah, that's a different story, though.
Make profit right
To put it in perspective on shipping and why it shouldn't actually cost that much is I bought 100+ Russian child gas masks, the PDF variant, PDFDs. And yes, I still have them. And yes, I eventually will get rid of them. I just haven't gotten around to it. It's just so much to inventory. I only paid I think I paid $50-something for this huge box, and the shipping was only like $30.
Seriously?
Yes. And they said that was expensive for them for shipping. I remember getting the message saying, "Oh, sorry about the shipping." And I don't know if shipping it's just because this was like 6 years ago. Maybe shipping is just that cheap back then. But
was it that big box downstairs?
Yes, that huge box. Yes.
That's not even worth $30. That's probably like $100 shipping.
Yeah.
That's not even.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
I actually don't remember.
Was it from the States or outside
Oh, it
the
was
country?
definitely from the States, yeah.
That's no way. It was like $30.
It was like 30. I think I only paid like $80-something total with tax.
Jeez.
Yep.
That's wicked. That's dirt cheap.
Yep. It happens. That's why I picked it up. I won the bid, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with all of these? I'll figure it out. But I'm going to have messages now saying, hey, can you... They're not worth anything, people, okay? But yeah.
Like $10 and that's it.
Not even.
Not even $10.
Yeah, maybe $10 if they have hoses and bags and stuff, but they don't. Yeah, there's only a few that have hoses. Moving on from my weird collection of stuff that just is collecting dust. But yeah, I would say that's a really good point. Shipping is something that you really have to watch out for. And that's, again, filters right back into messaging the seller. If you think a shipping price is just a wee bit too much, message them.
Or too low.
Yeah, good point. Message them and be like, hey, what's up with the shipping price? And they'll be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 we'll fix it. I've done that multiple times and saved $10-15 here and there because it's the auto price that comes up sometimes. They punch in a number, you punch in your zip code, blah, 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 blah. Obviously with international shipping, your mileage
tends to get pricier.
Yeah, your mileage may vary because it's got to ship. It usually means it's going to literally ship. Put on a ship, sent across. Unless you're shipping it
airplane, yeah.
Yeah, but usually it's, especially if it's coming from like China or something like that, yeah, you're paying for it to get onto a boat.
Korea as well. They have wicked high shipping prices as well.
Exactly. So, and if it's what you're buying is worth it, go for it. If it's not, you just got to deal with it. Wait for someone to buy it and have it show up in the States. But and obviously this applies to people in the States. If you live in Europe, it's probably reverse. Yeah, if you live in Europe, you have a hard time getting stuff out of the United States because of ITAR, but it is what it is.
It works both ways around. Like, it's hard for us American collectors to actually get European stuff.
Yeah.
Such as your French experimental mask. That was hard to get, probably.
Ooh, that was a fun one to get.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that's a cool mask.
Basically, German World War II stuff is what I kind of specialize in with the GM30s and whatnot. For me, for us, they're extremely pricey because they're a sought-after mask from World War II. And not only that, not many were brought back. They're either in relic condition, in private collectors' hands, in a museum, or dug up in the attic somewhere.
Yeah, I was just saying.
So they're really hard to get in the States, especially
estate
if
finds.
Let's just say you're in the Netherlands or Germany, and it's like they grow on trees pretty much.
Yeah, like
and
an
it's
apple.
so easy, pretty much, to get them.
And it's a vice versa, where for us, in Europe, there's certain things that you just can't get your hands on. Nope. Or you can get your hands on. It's just the price is going to be up there.
It's a process.
And then really here it's again, growing on trees. Like M17s, for instance, are growing on trees.
M9s, M17s,
M40s, MCUs, especially MCUs and M40s because they're being surplused right now, sort of. But yeah, no, it's so yeah. Based on where you live, you gotta make a determination on how these things work. Obviously, we're talking from an American perspective, but we understand that some of y'all might be in Europe or other places in the world. So your shipping may vary. Obviously, ITAR will prevent you from getting certain things. Usually, more the newer stuff that's more fun. But eventually, it will show up. Someone will write it off in Germany or something like that at a base, and so. That's how a lot of this stuff gets out there, weirdly enough.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole process either.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's paperwork getting messed up,
Or stolen.
That happens too, yeah. Stealing happens.
A lot.
Yeah.
That actually happens a lot.
But a lot of times it's like you get a large helmet, but you really needed a medium. And then they give you a medium, and then they didn't have paperwork on the large.
Yeah.
And then they have no custody of that large helmet. And then that person sells it on eBay because no one's taking it.
Yep.
And usually... Anyways, I'm not advocating for that, obviously, but that's just how it happens. It happens, Hopefully that loophole does not get closed. Sorry if that happens. I don't think I have the clout for that. Anyways, so that's usually how it would go for that. So watch out for scams. Fakes and repros is a little bit different from a scam. And once they're trying to pass it off as real, like we said with the assault bag for the, but. Yeah, sometimes it's just the seller doesn't know. Seller's selling something, and they just think it's real. Usually this would be clothing items,
just like that wool headgear that you got. That was actually completely.
I knew it was a repro looking at it though because it didn't have the same. But yeah, I mean, you put it up against a real one, doesn't even look close.
No.
But it was cheap, bought it, now you own it.
Yep.
And it's just a fun little thing to have. But, there is especially when you go back I would say Korea, you get into the World War II and before era, you're starting to get into a lot of repro uniforms, web gear, boots, all of that stuff. And once it gets dirty, it can look real.
Definitely.
Especially, the really good manufacturers of repro uniforms. They basically do it exactly the same way. A lot of the boots are made for repro, especially in the United States for like service type boots and stuff. They usually are made from the original company. So it's the exact same thing. Once you put on I can't think of the word for it right now, but dubbing on your boots. The wax that you put on your boots.
Oh, yeah. Oh god, what's that? What's that word?
I don't know.
We're trying to blank right now, are we?
Well, anyways, anyone out there knows, reenactors are like, ugh.
These guys don't know what they're talking about.
Because we didn't have to do it when I was in. We just got the boots, and they just worked.
I think it is like a dubbing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, you like dub your boots, and it makes them darker and stuff.
Yeah, like
darker the better, obviously.
Plus you got the Vesican dressing and stuff like that.
Specifically for chemical protection. But, yeah, we didn't have to do that when I was in. So I was in, we didn't even have to shine our boots. So that was, even our dress shoes you just wipe them and they're supposed to like auto shine kind of, they got that, I can't think of the word for it either. But anyways, point being is just be on the lookout for fakes and repros and make sure you know what you're buying. Look for tags. Obviously, if you're buying something US military, you're either looking for an NSN or FSN. You're looking for like
TSA, I think.
Anyways, the point being is those codes will tell you not only the date, but it's also really legitimizes what you're buying. It's good for knowing the date though. It says the date usually right in there.
Yep.
So it will say like DLA whatever 87, and that's the date. It's 2 date code, and that's good to look out for. That's a good way to know if you're looking at a fake or a repro. If it's older than that era of codifying things, then you start having to get into FSNs, federal stock numbers, or even just the World War I gear. It's usually going to be the company that made it, like Mills out of Worcester, and it will say like 1918, and that's like all you can go off of.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's very vague.
Yeah, and just hope to get and patents. If it's like M1910 gear and stuff, it's going to have the patents all on the buckles and stuff, but it's not. I don't know if there's any reproductions that do that. I would hope not, but you always have to run on that risk that someone's going to be doing,
Oh, definitely.
So most reproduction companies are careful about that, and they market in a realistic way, but with their own company, and that like, oh, that's a modern reproduction. It's just supposed to look like, which is nice. It's a nice little, I could be wrong about that, and I will probably get hate mail, but just speaking from the heart here. So yeah, that's really it for spotting fakes and repros and watching out for scams. And again, this all boils down to research.
And asking questions.
Don't
be afraid.
And try to find people that you can trust in the community that you're collecting.
This is huge, yes.
And that won't snipe stuff from you.
Yes.
Because be aware, people will snipe stuff from you.
Yep.
Because what might be your holy grail might be someone else's holy grail. And usually it is. So you got to find someone that you can trust that isn't going to snipe stuff for you. And you can ask them like, oh, what do you think this is worth? What should I know about this? They might know something more. They might have just anything, really. They might have just that slight detail that, you don't. And, it comes down to like, even on Alice gear, for instance, like the difference in the color of the nylon. It changes over time. The trim changes over time. I mean, that's crucial to, building out a kit and stuff. So you got to keep all that stuff in mind when you're on eBay, And again, be careful about overpaying, because stuff will come back up and you will be like, once in a while, your holy grail enters the market and it's like $500 starting bid and it sells for like $600 and you can't buy it because you realize you just can't spend that money right now.
Yeah, there's sometimes you just gotta like know your limit and stuff like that, and when to buy, when not to buy, pretty much.
Pretty much. You got to be an adult. Even if you're not an adult, you got to be an adult. Unless you don't have a limit and you're rich, then have at it and send me some money while you're at it.
I wouldn't mind some of that money either.
Yeah, exactly. Hook us up.
I got some stuff on my list I want to buy.
Buy me a mutt, all right? I really want a mutt. So yeah, moving on from that, that's basically eBay in a nutshell. I would say if you're a starter, be careful, but use eBay wisely. If you're a parent whose kid enjoys this type of stuff, just keep an eye on your kid, and you can trust eBay for the most part. I come from, I'm a little older than Bailey. I come from the era of like you couldn't trust eBay. It didn't have buyer protection yet. It was kind of like you get maybe what you get, or it might just be a picture or something. Like, I mean, that could still happen, but it's not supposed to. I mean, back in the day, eBay was kind of sketch. And I'm not talking down to eBay. It's not their fault. It's just the way that the world. And because personally, I've always liked eBay, but yeah, it's funny. eBay is a completely legitimate and great source of surplus. And the thing is, we'll get to it in a second here, but you don't have to buy everything online.
No.
I mean, we're kind of limited where we are for Army Navy stores. There's only a few, and they're kind of sort of good, sort of not. Depends.
Every now and then they have good stuff, but for the most part, it's like a hit or miss.
Like, but if you're I know some states have some really good, what is it, Omaha Army Navy?
Yeah, that's a good one.
I forget. Yeah, that's in Nebraska, right? Omaha, Nebraska?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Omaha Steaks, come on.
I don't know. What am I?
There's a good one in Nebraska, Texas.
Yeah, Texas. Yeah.
There's a lot in California.
Yeah,
I think there's a good one in Connecticut. Not Mystic.
No, that one's not that good. Sorry, Mystic.
No, it's not. Sorry, Mystic.
Sorry.
I've been to your store 2 times already. But there's another one. I think there's another one.
Just lower your prices just a little bit. I know it's tough with COVID, but you got to help us out here.
Come on. I think there's another one in Connecticut that's actually good. There's just a bunch everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. It's just, you got to know when to find them too.
Got to be hilarious if the Mystic ones.
No, it doesn't.
I feel so bad.
It doesn't have to be a military surplus store. It could be an antique store.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
They just have like a helmet for like $20. Like, for example, that's where I got my 2 M1 helmets. Yeah. I just went to an antique store and the guy was selling 2 M1 helmets and they had a sale. I bought both of them for $60. Like, that's a no-brainer right there. Yeah,
definitely go to...
especially local antique stores.
Yeah, local.
Family-owned are the best sometimes.
Flea markets, antique stores...
Yard sales.
Oh yeah, yard sales. Look online for estate finds. If there's gonna be a estate nearby, and like maybe that person was a World War II vet.
Craigslist too.
Craigslist.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and that gets into outside eBay. Craigslist,
Facebook
Marketplace is one of the best.
Yep.
You can get some pretty good deals. People are usually pretty willing to negotiate and stuff. And again, all the same rules apply. And the best thing about Facebook Marketplace is it's usually local, and you can buy stuff outside local, the people will ship it, but
because now people offering like shipping now.
Yep.
Also, you can just search up different cities and towns and just look up a specific item that you're looking for and just go off from there pretty much.
Yeah, and you'll find it usually. And if you can, obviously with COVID, it complicates things a little bit in terms of seeing the sellers and stuff, but as long as you're following your local guidelines, and I'm not going to advocate against that, you can go and see the item and handle it in person, and that's huge. If you can buy anything, especially big ticket items, in person, it's a lot better than buying eBay. Now, if you're like me and you're a little antisocial and a bit of an introvert, you like buying at eBay because you can just buy it and then
have it shipped to your house within days.
Exactly, and I don't have to talk to anyone. And but if you don't mind talking and conversing with human beings, you could just go see it, and you get to handle it. You get to see it in wear and tear, and then all those questions are answered for you in person, in your face.
Yeah.
Which is huge. It's way less difficult to get screwed. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That made sense, right?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
Plus, like, when you meet that person, you kind of develop a bond in a way.
Yeah, you can feel them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just, talk to them and be like, oh, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, my great-grandfather had this when he was in service. So it's like, it's good to know that it's going to good hands and someone that actually knows something about this instead of, and stuff like that, especially on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. I actually bought something, had it shipped to my house, and it's a very rare piece that I have in my collection. It's a Interwar Mark 1 diaphragm mask.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I had that shipped, and I actually still talked to that person today because she'd be like, "Hey, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I actually found this in my area. I was wondering if you'd be interested." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" You're like, "I'm not really interested, but thank you though." And they'll keep asking me questions, how I'm doing, like, how's the collection? I'm like, "Oh, it's going great. I got this recently. I'm doing this now. I'm taking a break," or
yeah, and
like
if you're honest with them too, and you tell them how much the stuff is worth and stuff, and they're making money, when they come across something that again is a holy grail for you, they'll contact you and be like, "Hey, I found this," and they will give it to you for a good price because you've been helping them out. You know, I'm not advocating for scratch their back, you scratch yours type thing, but that's pretty much what it is, and it's fine as long as it's over the table. And that's crucial. It's crucial, and it feeds into another side gig, I guess, of getting things, joining collector groups.
That's a big, actually.
There's a ton of them out there, but it doesn't have to be collector groups, just like-minded fellows. You can because you can buy stuff off each other, and then now you're dealing with another seller, and you guys will obviously be able to negotiate a lot better.
To have your own collecting syndicate, pretty much is the way I say it.
Yeah, and and once you get into those groups, like the gas mask Reddit, for instance, you can deal with them. There's people sell and buy from each other all the time, and with PayPal, it's safe.
Yep,
because you just do PayPal, you pay that a little extra for the buyer protection, basically, and you're good to go. You don't, and yes, please pay for the buyer protection. Don't make the buyer do it or the seller do it. It's
now, unless you know the person that well enough, then you can go ahead and do the friends of family.
Yes,
but if you don't know the person, then you're better off just being safe than sorry.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, just in case. It's safer for both of you. Something happens in transit. Something happens, and
you're both protected.
If you're shipping outside either the States or wherever country you live, if it happens to not make it through customs, get snagged at customs, something weird happens, it's better to have that buyer protection for both sides, just in case. It's just insurance on your item, basically. But yeah, that's another way to expand your collection, and that's a good way to get the more rare items. So definitely you have to look into that. If you can't find an eBay, you start off with eBay and then you start to branch off. I'd say start off with eBay and then start to branch out, because obviously if you're not comfortable with meeting people in person, don't do Facebook Marketplace unless they're shipping it. eBay, you can just slowly, and you can also do pickup in eBay. If something comes up local in eBay, you don't have to pay the shipping. Just say, "Hey, can I do a local pickup?" Go pick it up.
If you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, if you're comfortable with it. And that way you can save. And honestly, shipping is where you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Shipping will eat your ability to spend on other things. If you buy a couple items, the shipping will cost up to an item eventually.
Shipping and tax. The sales tax or the state tax is one of the two.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That hurts you a little bit more.
Yeah, if you have a limited budget, you got to keep that in mind and stuff. And we'll probably maybe eventually talk about budgeting and stuff and how to, but that's a little more complicated.
Oh yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah, I know. And and yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you gotta get smart with that. But so eBay though, yeah, that's what you need. I would say that goes over the basics for eBay. For the most part, I don't know. Is there anything else to add to that?
eBay's king.
I would say eBay is still king. I would say my question is answered.
Took a while, but we got there.
Exactly. We did. So the one thing else we missed, and we almost forgot this, and we're kind of adding this in here, is search terms.
Yes. You can find a lot of good stuff with either very vague or very specific search terms.
Or legitimately spelling things incorrectly.
That's actually a good reason.
Like no lie, sometimes people just they just spell stuff incorrect and they put it up there.
Like tautological.
Yeah, it's a weird word.
It's a very weird word, but I can get it wrong sometimes.
Yeah, and then you type it in wrong and you get something
that you really want.
Yep.
Like
a pair of boots.
For instance here. Yeah, that's what happened with me and Jake here. I actually was on eBay one day looking up, I think just literally rubber protective something like boots or gloves or whatever. Rubber protective agents, or I think something like that. Something vague. And I found these early contract rare TAP boots that he really wanted, and he just bought them instantly.
Yep.
So that actually helped him out a lot.
Yeah, they're already posted on Instagram, and go check them out.
Yep.
They're pretty awesome. They're boot covers. And again, one day you will see me in full toxicological agents protective gear. Eventually. As a mouthful. But yeah, search terms. The importance of search terms is don't always just look up exactly what you want. Sometimes just look up gas mask. Look up mask, military. Like, just throw keywords in there. Because some people will just put military mask. They won't even put the gas mask in there.
Or chemical respirator, something respirator, something like that.
Sometimes respirator, yeah. Especially if it's like European. They say
military mask, whatever.
Exactly. And you know, even just looking up like military surplus and just scrolling, you're going to scroll for a while.
Definitely. So find that one thing you really want.
The other key to search items is the category bar.
Yep.
Make sure you look in the right category bar. If you're looking for things, make sure it's in collectibles, or if it's specifically a clothing item, sometimes you want to do both collectibles or clothing. They're separate.
Or do all categories now and then.
Yeah, do all categories. I usually do all categories for like big ticket items that are broad, and the terms are going to usually be pretty specific.
Yeah.
And if the more you narrow that down, you'll get rid of some of the weird things, like if what's a good example of that? Like GP5 kits.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you narrow down the collection tab on categories, you can usually get rid of all the weird buy it now $10 GP5 kits that come up that you just don't care about.
Or the gas mask like print on t-shirts or whatever. Yes. They're like $20 and you see like 20 listings in a row.
Yeah, that's all.
Like, I don't want to see this. It takes up like half a page now and then.
Yeah, and it gets in your way of your ability to filter, and you'll miss something because of that, because you'll just be like, oh, it's all t-shirts.
I'm gonna keep scrolling, then you see like that one holy grail like right there in the middle, then you keep scrolling, it's like, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see that.
So searching is I don't know how we figured out this, but I would say searching is one of the most important things for eBay, is just knowing how to search. And obviously this is a podcast, so I can't show you guys. Maybe I'll do a video on it eventually, but you know, I'm not going to say everything, but this is just too much to cover. But yeah, searching is key. You gotta really mess around. Like you said, keywords is key. Just, you know, throw whatever you can. Do weird combinations. Do it not backwards spelling, but like backwards in wording. So mask, gas sometimes.
Field mask, whatever. Protective mask, yeah.
And if you're going for something that's older, you're gonna have to look up weird words and stuff to, you know, like and you're gonna have to probably cycle through a lot of different things, because, you know, just what things mean and stuff change over time. But I would say that's probably something definitely keep a lookout for. There's not much more to add to that though, because honestly, it's just search terms.
Pretty much. It's like I said earlier with that Vietnam kid. He searched. I think someone tipped him off, and it's just on OfferUp. It wasn't even just a flak jacket listed on the search term. It was literally listed as old body armor. And so I had to look up. It wasn't a flak jacket. It wasn't, you know, Vietnam flak jacket. It just said old body armor. And I looked it up and I found it. Because I did Vietnam flak jacket, Marine flak jacket, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what popped up, old body armor.
Yeah,
it's something like that. It's just like, it boggles my mind. Something so vague and simple like that just gets like unnoticed.
Yeah, because because when you're typing into a search bar, it's looking for keywords. If you don't hit any of those keywords, you're not going to find it.
Yep.
Especially if there's not a tagging system or anything built into the system where like it's also taking consideration of this description. I'm not actually sure how eBay works versus OfferUp versus all these other ones, but that's also key to just searching through. And obviously with COVID kind of messed a lot of this up, because a lot of these search websites, a lot of these bidding sites started to limit buying mask, and unfortunately it was not to do anything with respirators.
Yeah.
Or APRs really. It was really to do with like N95s and N100s and stuff like that. But that ended up messing with the search terms and the search results and stuff.
Yes. They actually had to ban some search terms on Facebook.
Yes.
Like if you're looking up, let's just say gas mask or whatever, military mask, it'd be banned. And only be coming up with like cloth mask, whatever, for like COVID. Yep. This is back in March or April, where I had a tough time.
When it first happened.
I actually found terms that actually bypassed that system. Some people were doing the same thing, and I found some stuff during that time. But it was just the market was so dry at that time. I think eBay did that as well.
Yeah, eBay had a short
period.
Then
they had backlash, and they renewed it after like a few days or something like that.
Yeah, they reversed the decision, and it went back to normal. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I think that basically covers eBay in a nutshell. We're just shy of an hour, so I think that's good enough for eBay. And,
I think so.
Yeah.
There's so much to talk about just eBay itself, but there's so much we can only talk about. It's just there's a lot to cover.
Maybe future episode we can do a deeper dive and stuff, or if people have questions and they ask, and I can filter it in there somehow. But for now, I think that does a good enough job at covering eBay and other websites of the type. And we will move on from there, and we will close out. So thanks for coming back on, Bailey.
Thanks again, by the way.
Yep, it's not like you've moved at all in the last 5 hours, but okay. And with that, I will sign off. So that's it. Have a good day.